Hello and welcome to another mini painting video. This week we are continuing our spooky month of Halloween with another spooky painting. Now, I was originally going to do some witches for this week to kind of finish off the month of Halloween, but I'm actually going to be at a convention this weekend, and I decided I would be doing the Hocus Pocus witches there at the show, so I decided to go to another movie I kind of wanted to showcase. This based on a story by Joe Hill. This was a movie from a few years back called Horns, and this stars Daniel Radcliffe, who is essentially blamed for his girlfriend's murder. Everyone thinks he did it. He did not. And it's him trying to figure out who killed his love of his life. And because everyone thinks he's some sort of devil, he wakes up one morning and has sprouted horns and has developed some sort of other devilish sort of abilities that help him figure out who killed his girlfriend. And it's kind of a moralistic gray area of a story, but also a traditional story of a hero going to depths to save the protagonist, the love interest of the story. So this kind of, is it revenge? Is it vengeance? What kind? A lot of superhero-like tropes. And those types of hero stories are played up heavily in this kind of mystery set in a kind of woodsy town. And a lot of actually this movie takes place in a forest. Right now I'm working on the face, and at this point in the movie he has been kind of burned and his face is becoming more devilish in nature, and it was kind of hard to try and find the right kind of red, dark hued red, that's kind of charred flesh that's just raw, but also kind of muscle structure and just alright, looks painful. And so it was kind of a struggle trying to find the right color, the fleshy colors, and kind of burnt and cooked flesh colors for the right half of his face there. And because this bright red kind of needed to jut forward with his yellow coat, or yellow kind of hoodie that's kind of underneath his brown coat, I kind of minimized a lot of the other colors in this figure, sticking with just some basic, my basic earth tone gray, the E40 on up to E49. Still trying to pinpoint some of these like fleshy, cooked flesh, searing around the edges of where his skin seems normal and where his skin seems definitely not normal. So a lot of those that I call red brown, which is ash rose, and going into even darker and darker, bolder reds. I really wanted his face to just kind of pop off the paper here, but not so much anything else he was wearing. So just still going in with oranges and dark reds, just building up that shadow, and building up kind of the otherworldliness of his face. I put a hint of green in his hair, and as you'll see in a moment, I'm going to start working on the background, which I take a completely different approach to. I'm now just working on, again, that's the E40 range of values there in his coat, which is kind of a neutral brown and neutral sepia tones, and I like that. And just building that up, just coming in here with a hint of a warmer brown, just to kind of blend the really warms of his face and hoodie with the rest of his outfit. And then just some hints of some this blue grays, blue-violet grays specifically, just to add some extreme shadow to his coat and some charred dirt. Just building up that leathery texture. The jacket was worn before it was caught on fire, and so it looks like a jacket that had seen better days. Building in probably now the darkest of dark tones in his face. Really trying to finish this figure up and move on to the background. Now, as I was saying, most of this movie takes place in the woods. There's this tree house, and just nature has taken over. And so I really wanted to go impressionistic with the background here. I wanted the feeling of wildlife, the feeling of everything being alive, and that complement of the bright green against the red in the skin. I really wanted those two colors to play off of each other in this painting. I wanted to imply trees and moss and ivy, and maybe even an opening, a field, light shining in. And so I just did a lot of really bold green choices I don't normally get to use much. And this was kind of a nice, almost Bob Ross, as Bob Ross as I've ever gotten, just kind of making brush marks to try and imply some sort of landscape behind Daniel Radcliffe here. Going in with some shadows now to kind of build up maybe a tree trunk, and some of those branches and shadows coming off of the trees that are further in the distance. And the colors were bold, and probably bolder than I normally would go, but I really think that it worked well with this piece, and I enjoyed it. I hope you guys liked it. If you have a suggestion for a future mini-painting, please leave it in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.